morning. Good morning. Good morning, buddy. What's going on?
Just waking up the whole house.
He's hyped today, everybody. He is back. He is hyped. He was
It is-
down, but he
it
crawled
is-
his way back in again.
Say it again.
I said you were down, but you crawled your way back up again.
I did. Yeah. It's what has it been, 5 days? Thursday I was on. Yeah, 5 days away. It feels this feels all new again, which is great. I'm psyched. I'm back in the morning on the morning wagon. My morning
Nice.
wagon, and who's ever driving. So it's great.
Good stuff, man. Well, good morning, Caitlin. Good morning, Dr. Feelgood, and good morning, Leslie. What is up, everybody? How are you doing? How was your Monday? How was your Tuesday looking? Talk to me. So what happened?
Let's
How was
start.
everything?
Let's go with Friday. Were you on Friday? I forget.
No,
Okay.
I don't think
Friday
so.
was, yeah. Well, obviously I wasn't. Friday was good. Had an adult league soccer doubleheader, which, if you haven't played
Okay.
2 soccer games as an adult, and you're over 40, don't do it, because it is painful. I did score, probably the best goal ever scored on a short field. I feel really good about that. Lost the game, won a game, got a husband wife assist,
Okay. Nice.
and then my one friend Andrew, who I grew up with, went to college with, now lives out here, and our kids are a friend. We also linked up an assist, so like my little soccer checklist is complete.
Well
And it
done.
did hurt, and I got absolutely rocked by a mom, not a mom, and I'm trying to say this in a totally non-sexist way. I got absolutely rocked by a girl on the other team. I mean, she was real, like, good. Like, you could tell. It's like in this league, it's like the other team walks onto the field, and you can be like, oh, they've definitely played soccer before. Well, this woman who was probably about our age looked like she played soccer every day, and she absolutely rocked me. I think she nutmegged me, beat me, somehow maneuvered me. I ran into my goalie. I hurt my leg and my foot, and like I was like mentally shooketh the entire rest of the second game.
That's hilarious.
But I did give her kudos during the game. Like I was like, hey, that was a good move. And she ended up coming out to me after the game, and she just said, hey, thanks for like, commending me on that. I felt really good about that because I didn't get mad. I was just like, wow, I just got owned. I was her bitch for like
Yeah.
that seconds.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it was a good lesson in giving credit where credit is due. So
100%.
yeah, Saturday off-roading like you did. Not wide open in a desert. It was more on trails. It was just me and the girls. I did not get to put my 12-year-old in the driver's seat like you did, because it was a little bit too much like back and forth with with the company. But we
Gotcha.
definitely broke the speed limit, and we definitely caught air. And I hope nobody's listening that might be involved with that company, but those are against the rules. The speed limit was 20 on those, and we went like 33.
Oh,
But
that's crazy. Did it have a limiter? Like, were you able to go any higher?
there was no limiter. No.
Because mine was they didn't tell us a speed limit, but there was definitely a limiter at 35. Like, you could not, if you went down a hill, you could get to 38, but then it would roll you back to 35 pretty quickly. Um, yeah, I'm like, dude, this thing could go like 70. What the hell?
Yeah.
But then I was like, that's probably for the best.
Yeah, I was very surprised at like how nimble those things are, the side by sides.
Oh yeah.
And I can definitely, I definitely now, like I used to be, I'm very like anti like trailer camper and anti boat because I don't want to take care of those things or worry about
Yeah.
storage. And I was even like that, like when I see like a big trailer being towed up the mountain by a truck,
Hmm.
like somebody that bought one, I was like, that looks like so much work. But after riding one, I'm like, now I can kind of see why people want these. Um,
Yeah, our friends that we went with, they had one for a long time and they got rid of it. And I think our other friends just got rid of their trailer. And I think one of the friends, like after we did that session, he was like, I think he we were all kind of like in this same place where we were like, that was so much fun. Like we should like, and he looked at us all and he's like, nope, I'm not getting another one. He's like, I really like just renting it and not having to like he's like, I don't have to clean it. He's like, I don't have to store it. I don't have to tow it. He's like, "It was worth it for me, to pay the" I think it was a couple hundred, like 4 or $500 for a session, so, like 100 an hour or something like that. He's like, "It was worth it for me to not have to clean it, maintenance it, or any of that stuff."
yeah,
And
I
I'm
was
like,
trying
"Yeah."
to figure out like what the cost benefit analysis was there.
Yeah.
Last thing I'll share is that yesterday was like a physical health day. I went to the doctor after like I don't know how long,
Oh, yeah.
just
Yeah,
kind of like
yeah.
restarting like my annuals, and also the skin doctor. Um,
Mm,
and
okay.
like Kristen's been telling me to go for years to these things, and I finally went and like that low level stress of like all those little things that you think might be wrong, and then like finally going away, like that's big. Like I knew that. I knew I would feel like that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like I got my blood test, did a blood panel, got like testosterone checked, got my hemoglobins and everything checked. Words I've never didn't even know were in my body.
Yeah.
Seems like everything's good. And I'm going to share one story because I think it's kind of funny. One of the reasons why I kept putting this off, and we talked about this before, was the prostate exam, because in my head, prostate exam is when you get some fingers up the butt, right? And some
Mhm.
of us here maybe have gotten it. Before I knew that there was an alternative, like most of half of what I was psyching up for was like asking for this. When I was like, yeah, like, you know, prostate exam maybe. So and then he talked me through it. It was like, oh, that can now be taken through the blood test. So that's great. Um, so on the way out of the office, uh, he finished like going over um, all that stuff. And I will share that I did end up getting a prescription for dexamethasone, whatever replaces Adderall. That is
Okay.
something that's been on my head. Like the past week,
Oh,
Kristen kind of suggested I take it. It's helped. I asked the doctor a lot of questions. Doctor asked me a lot of questions, and then ended up prescribing me some. So I'm going to see how that goes for a month. But like it definitely has improved some areas of my game. On the way out of the office, I forgot about the blood test part of the prostate. So he opens the door, and like a nurse practitioner and then like two other people are outside. He
yeah.
opens the door, and I'm like, but what about my prostate? To these people, like, so like, wait, I didn't get the finger up the butt. Um, and then he's like, it's in the blood test, and then he like that's away. Uh,
That cat is relentless
yeah,
today.
we have we've also been watching dogs.
Oh,
So our
really?
house has had 4 dogs in it, and the cats are, like, just running from place to place, kinda like how humans run from air conditioning to air conditioning in Arizona, which we're prepping up ourselves for here.
Yeah,
How are
it's
you,
coming.
Dom? How was your
Oh, I'm
weekend?
doing well. Uh good day yesterday. I had my a stacked up final inspection with my inspector and it went really well. He walked through the whole house, climbed in the attic, didn't have any corrections for me. We had a good long chat, just, him telling me like he's an older gentleman, been in construction for a really long time. He used to do contracting and framing. So I've learned that if you talk to people more and get them to open up a little bit, it makes everything just that much better and easier. Uh, and we talked for a really long time, and he was like, "You're all good, man." He's like, "I'll get you the sign off for the gas meter." He's like, "Come into the office and make sure all your other departments are signed off." And he's like, "And then we'll print out your certificate of occupancy, and you're all done." Um, and so that was awesome because I was stressing on that because that's an inspection that we plan, and we have all these like precursors that we have to meet. And then when I've had it happen many times where they come out and there's something that I missed or something new that they want me to do that I never heard of before. It's like every year that the codes change a little bit. And, so I was just very thankful that he and I had a couple of those inspections, and I had asked him every time, like, how "Is there anything you're looking for? Like, what do I need to do?" And he was just he's very easy to work with. And I told him that at the end of the walkthrough. I was like, "Look, man, I've heard some bad things about, the city of Redondo, and it's been a pleasure working with you. Like I think I've really enjoyed it, and I hope I get another job out here. I haven't This is the first job I've had out there in 16 years of doing this." And he like echoed the sentiment, and he was like, "Yeah, I hope I see you out here again soon." So it was just like it was really good. It was a really good conversation. We had a good talk. I
So, when you
thoroughly
say
enjoyed it.
talk, was this so it sounds like this was a more professional talk that went well and kinda commended you on your job
Yeah.
site
Yeah, it's a
organization.
city, he's a city employee, so he's the senior building inspector. So he's like the top dog out there as far as inspectors, been doing it for a really long time, very well respected in the area. And I just have treated him that way since day one. I told him the first day I met him that I was like, "Hey, I'm new to Redondo. I don't know your city. I don't know, the ins and outs. So, I'm just gonna I'm just gonna ask you questions, and I'm sorry if I'm, asking too much or whatever, but I want to make sure that I'm doing it the way that you want it done because every city's different." And I think he just like, respected um that little bit of humility that came from me to just say like, "I'm the new kid and you're the old man." And not obviously in that way, but you're the seasoned veteran and I'm the new kid. So it's like I wasn't trying to I wasn't because some people go in there with ego and they're like, "I've been doing construction for 16 years, and you can't tell me what to do." And it's like the opposite is true, actually. Like they have most of them have been, or he has been doing it for longer, and he literally can tell you what to do. So I've learned my lesson enough times not to fight
Yeah.
with these guys.
I'd imagine that there's a potential for a lot of back and forth on the way things are done
Yeah.
on who they're talking to.
Yeah. Yeah, because and he and I talked about that a lot, actually, because in other cities, they're a little bit more, like, fighty in other cities. Like, he was just very calm. He's funny, like, not funny funny, but, like, he tells these, like, almost like dad jokes, and they kinda get me sometimes. Um,
I
but it was
don't
just
I think there's an unwritten rule where if there's an older guy spouting off dad jokes and you're the younger dad, you kinda have to laugh, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it was a good day. It was a good solid day. And then I came back here for lunch and made my lunch. And then my office mate, he shows actually my our painter shows up with some tostada shells. And I'm like, that's a really weird thing to show up to. No, nothing else with him, just tostada shells. And then my office mate Scott, he showed up with fresh caught yesterday. Well, lunch was yesterday, so he showed up with Sunday fresh cut fish ceviche that he had made, and so we all shared a plate of ceviche and just kind of hung out. So it's just solid.
Yeah, you guys probably had a lot of fish out there. That sounds good.
My the guy I share an office with, Scott, he's like fishing is his thing. Like
Yeah.
he is as close to an expert fisherman without being an expert. Like the stories that he tells me, like he goes on and on. Like uh when he talks about fishing, it's like sometimes it's a different language. Like he loves it, like lives and breathes it. And so when he brings fish, it's fresh, it's cooked or cut right. Um, yeah. So it's delicious for sure.
Provider for the community.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes he'll catch a big fish and he'll cut it all up and that's what he does. He passes it out to the people that he works with. His little way of like, having people remember him kind of thing to get the work.
Yeah. Brofits, good morning from on top of Camelback Mountain. I'm going to assume that there's a number of Camelback Mountains in the United States. The only one that I know of is in Pennsylvania. Unless I'm sure there's one. There's got to be one in Arizona, I'm sure.
Oh, there is. Yeah.
Yeah. I did smash my groins today, Brofits. Thought of you the entire time. For some leg day. How about let's get into today's page and let's see if we can make some last minute connections to our experiences.
Just pick yourself back up. How did you go with this one?
I'm kind of looking back at the last few days that I missed. So we just got Just Go to Bed. We got Patience is Strength. We got Just Picks Yourself Back Up. Yeah, I think I didn't go too deep on these. We've talked, if we're talking about today, with just kind of picking yourself back up when you kind of feel like you fell off your wagon a bit. I think we've talked quite a bit about that this past year, about when like your morning routine is off, maybe your relationship with your kids is off, maybe your kitty cat ate something, you got to pay a lot of money, and then you got to build up your bank account again for your vacation coming up, something like that. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm good at that. I mean, that's a skill that comes with adulthood and definitely parenthood. I've been listening to I had a lot of podcast time over this weekend.
Okay.
On one good one in particular, just kind of about it's very similar to like a lot of the other like dad casts. But kind of the more that I listen, it's like there are quite a few out there. And, I think there's an ongoing joke these days where it's like, well, what guy doesn't have a podcast, right? But then when you listen to some of them, it's like, well, why don't more people do it? Because it's like we all have the same experiences, we all struggle with the same things, and the more people that talk about it, the better, right? And like some people are really great at it, and it might just be two guys sitting around talking about their day. Like we do, but it's all like great stuff. And then like we got this great little community that follows us every day.
Yeah.
So kind of listening to those things, like some bigger podcasts, just like really thankful for, what we got going here. And just like when people share, it's great. I would say like recently picking yourself back up is just like, I've referenced that like, routines and habits kind of come in waves for me. Like, well, I'll be on top of it for like 3 weeks, then like a week I fall off, and I always have a hard time like understanding why that happens. Considering like, is it necessary to fall off to get back on again, or can it be sustained for like? Can it be sustained to the point where it's like, well, you don't fall off?
Yeah.
And I'd love to hear comments from people listening or in the chat here about those things. Like the last thing, like even like the marriage wagon. It's like, how many times have we fallen off of that off after like a disagreement or an argument or misunderstanding, and getting back on that and what that takes and what kind of energy you spend doing that. Those are all kind of the thoughts that came to my head. So I guess, yeah, maybe started shallow, but a lot of good connections from the past few days.
Yeah. Yep. I think my most recent one is the last one you talked about, the marriage. Amy and I hit a little rough patch this weekend. She was feeling a little neglected, and I was feeling a little overworked and stressed, and we just came at each other heads button, and we just couldn't see eye to eye this weekend. So even though we had a fun time at the party, we were very much not having a fun time together. It was more just enjoying our kids and enjoying the company of other people.
And in like just kind of like that, like the vibe was off, but in the same
Yeah.
space.
Yeah, and we had been getting along we've been getting along so well for so long. So, yeah, and there was just communication issues the last week. And then when I got home on Friday, I could tell something was off, and so I kinda poked and prodded a little bit to see what was going on, and she kinda told me, and I was like, "Oh, that's," I was trying to be understanding, but obviously it didn't come off that way. I was a little bit more defensive than I probably should have been, but I also kind of felt a little. I don't know what it was. I felt like she wasn't being as understanding of my position, and like almost to a stage of a little bit of like disrespect. And so it just I tried and I tried and I tried to repair, and it wasn't going anywhere. And then I was like, okay, well, now I'm upset with you. It was one of those things.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the way that we like get into our fights and arguments, they last a good amount of time. So we're still in it for right as of right now. So
Yeah. Well, Dom, I can say, and maybe I can even shed some light on it. Uh, we, Chris and I, it wasn't a fight. It was last week. We had a really good time at the wedding. Last week, your situation was almost like reversed of ours. Like I've mentioned before last week that like kind of with summer, this particular summer, it's just like I've been really aware of this weird, not weird, just like this the space and lack of interaction in the day to day when Kristen's working, I'm at home.
mhm.
It's a very very much like a role reversal as far as like a stay at home parent and the one that works. And this particular summer, I've been having a hard time just being cool with that for whatever
Okay.
reason. So kind of like how your wife has been feeling like a lack of connection, so was I. I was having a really hard time rationalizing that as like, you know, Kristen's in this new job, she's doing really well, she's making connections, and her head's there most of the day. So like we had a really good drive up to the wedding through the canyon, and we just had one of those talks where I was like, "Are we good?" I'm just kind of feeling like there's like some like there's just kind of like been this space here. We had a really good talk there about that. And that kind of led into like things, it always kind of leads into the things that are stressing us out, things that like we're not maybe vocalizing. I'm very much a person who really hangs on to something before vocalizing it. And that usually ends up me looking like I'm angry or annoyed or something. And that's something that I'm constantly trying to work on. And then Saturday, I was just kind of like, I was still thinking about those things. And like, I kind of gave her like a shotgun blast to the face of the things that are like stressing me out. It's like, and I'm sure there's a lot of people here that can relate, where it's like, you might give people, and I heard this on one of the podcasts I listened to, is you give your partner like the rough draft of your thoughts, where like things aren't polished, uh, and they come out not in the way
Yeah.
that you intend, nor does it create the conversation that you're intending.
Mhm.
That was kind of what's like we kind of like went to bed Saturday like that, and it was like there's like just a space where I wasn't feeling comfortable. Um, and then the day after, I listened to something where kind of it perfectly defined what I just did, and it's like I wish I was better at like releasing those things after the first draft has been written. So it's like it's more of a conversation rather than a brain dump, you know.
Yeah, it's very tough. I get that. I like that. I like that connection because like I was saying and I was writing this morning in the journal, like I feel like things are things are a little easier or conversations happen a little easier with work and friends and all that stuff, but with family, with my wife, things are just tough, like when you want to say something, uh it sometimes it just doesn't come across the way you want to say it. And that's a good analogy, that it's kind of like a rough draft or a shotgun blast of stuff. You just give them all the things. Um
Yeah. Where like it
Dave,
results in like them feeling more attacked rather than me trying to
yeah,
thoughtfully articulate my thoughts.
yeah, exactly. Looks like we have a new person in the chat. Deepest. What's up? This
Let's learn about deepest.
yeah. How'd you find us? How'd you stumble upon us? So we are just coming to the close of the show, but we basically come here pretty much every weekday morning. We talk to each other about our lives. For the most part, we're all parents here. We're all friends. We're part of a community called the V Friends, and we read a book page a day called The Daily Dad, and we kind of talk about it, how it relates to our lives and our parenting. I pressed on podcast because I wanted to find a stream I could ask a question. Okay, what's your question?
Let's do this.
Well, let's see what happens here. How do you deal with heartbreak? Oof.
Oh man.
Okay. That could have gone anywhere. Whew, that's a deep one.
Yeah.
You want to
Well,
take that one, Jason?
I'm on summer break, so let's go. How do you deal with heartbreak, Dom? Do you have any? How do you deal with heartbreak? I went through heartbreak maybe once, twice. I went through it twice, more in my 20s. Um, Marijuana. Yeah, maybe. Sometimes that does numb the pain short term. Sometimes it's running, sometimes it's lifting, sometimes it's working out, sometimes it's sitting in your room and just letting all the shitty feelings in and soaking in it. Sometimes it's talking about it. Sometimes it's jumping on a podcast that you never heard of and jumping on and talking about it with some people who might have had some experience with it. Um,
Yeah, I would say um for me in the past it was definitely shutting out, like, just kind of like shutting in, being to myself, like kind of focusing on the things that, I would do, probably playing video games. But nowadays I think it's more along the lines of talking to people. So like as we all know, like I've spent the last couple of years just like finding a community, a circle of friends, people I trust. And so if I had to deal with heartbreak right now, I would lean on you guys. I would lean on my buddy Scott. I would lean on the people that I know that have been there for me. And then of course, like Dylan's saying, you know, self-love, go into all the things that you talked about, go into revamping your routine in the morning, go get your workout plan in, like go find yourself again. Most of the time when we talk about heartbreak, we talk about, a relationship. And so maybe you lost yourself a little bit in the relationship and you're very attached to that person and that person left you. And your first thought is they left me because I'm shit. So go make yourself not shit. Go find yourself again. Go love yourself again. Do the things that make you happy. Concentrate on yourself. You probably haven't concentrated on yourself in a while. If you're in a relationship, you're focused on the relationship. You're focused on that person. So just, you know, a lot of those things.
Yeah. My first and deepest, if you want to give us a little bit of context, maybe like, how old you are. Is this a girlfriend? Is this a wife? Is this a partner? That might help too. Mine was I had a long term girlfriend between high school and college. That I guess that was my first heartbreak, and uh, I would say like when I first started breaking out of that was when I first started focusing on like who I actually was, because like when you're with somebody, it's like literally half of you is another person. And then my second time was me and Kristen actually broke up for a time when we were dating before we got married. And even though I didn't feel like I was in the best space to be with her, it still really sucked, and it sucked a lot harder than I thought it would. And even then, it was like refining myself again and kind of taking stock of like, what do I want to do? What's important to me? What have I not done to like fill that space that's like me, right? Because it's like you're walking around with a half of a drink, and you're not refreshed, whatever analogy that you want to bring. But yeah, I mean, no, it's like the best thing you can do is to do whatever it is that you used to do before this
Hmm.
happened. That was always in those two times. I would say that was where I kind of got myself back. And then after you kind of get yourself back, then you start kind of seeing who's around you. You might connect with like some old friends that you haven't talked to. You might start noticing things. It's like I remember like when me and Kristen split for a bit, I was taking a walk through Boulder, and I became really fixated on like interior spaces. Like I remember it was like 8 o'clock at night, and I was just like I was in this really observant headspace, whereas like I was like just observing what was going on in these buildings. Um, yeah, it's just like paying attention to what's around you that maybe you haven't been, whether it's like your friends or your hobbies and habits, or even like who you want to be now. It's like it might be a space where you can reset. It might be getting back on the wagon, referencing today's reading, just picking yourself back up, which
Hmm.
sounds really easy when it's in 5 words. I could talk about this for a little bit longer if Deepest is even still here.
He's there. He
18.
just dropped it.
We met in 10th grade, and we stayed together for a year and a half. I was her first love. She was my third, but since I knew what was looking, she was exact. So yeah, yeah, that's deep. And so it was your third. Maybe was it your third, but was it your deepest? That might be something too. Um, yeah, that was about the age I was in, like I think it was like 2021 when that happened. And yeah, like especially when it happens to you at first, especially when it's like a lot of what you carry and put into your relationships now. Like I'm 44, Dom's about the same age, and people like
41.
that, their ages are all over the place, and we probably all remember like our first relationship or our first like real true love, um, and that never goes away. It'll never go away, which is good, because like if it's a really good positive experience, um, you'll take all those really good things with you, and um, you get to pour that into your next relationship, or maybe you guys might find each other again, you know because you guys are still young. I'm sure there's like some college or after high school jobs going on, and even if it's just a year and a half, it doesn't mean it's not deep. That's
Yeah.
still a long time to connect. Um,
Yeah, there's definitely there's a million things we can say, but obviously, only you know what's going on and how all the intricacies of the relationship were. But, I've been in a number of relationships. My wife, like I knew pretty quickly in it, but we were in our early 20s and we've been together for a while now. But prior to that, I've been in many relationships, and everything that happened, I'm very much a believer in, like, everything that happened for me for a reason, for me to learn, for me to grow, for me to be the person. So, you know, this heartbreak is something for you. And like he said, you could easily circle back and be with that girl again next year, or it could just be the hardship that you need to go through this year, and then like I said, you find yourself, you find a new passion, you find a completely different direction, you end up in a completely different location. There's It's tough. I know it's tough. We all know it's tough. So yeah, man, I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, honestly, glad you popped in here. Like I said, we were about to wrap up the show. Everyone in here is all about helping and listening. So the more you want to chat, we're around for you. Um, if you need anything else, I mean, like I said, we can keep it going for a little bit longer. You can check back in with us here pretty much every day at this time. We start about a half an hour prior, so that's 5:30 a.m. on the Pacific Coast, which is where I am. Um, and and if not, you can follow us over on Twitter. That's mostly where all of us chat and hang out. But
yeah.
appreciate you coming in, man.
One thing I would say,
Hang on.
and
Yeah.
Dom, if you have to go, that's fine. Um, and yeah, Divist, thanks for sharing. I think that's one of the best things you can do is like just talking about it. And you probably don't even know what you might be in that space where like you're not sure what's up and what's down right now. You mentioned that it's like it's very like she made it seem very final. Part of it is like and like this might not hit with you because like you're in your early 20s, maybe late teens, you're still growing. It's like you're still in that stage where like in 5 years you might be a completely different human and she might be too, you know. I would say I would say the worst thing to do is to chase and try to fix it, especially when there's what are the words I'm trying to look. I would say that it sounds like it's a time for space where you just got to walk away. If it's not
Well,
working, then give it space. You don't want to. There's no use in suffocating it. You may have
yeah.
talked until you guys are blue in the face about it or not. Um, it's okay. Stop chasing. It's been a month. No contact. Oh yeah, it'll feel like hell, probably for another month, but it does get better. You're in the shit right now, which sucks. Um, and that's probably the worst of it. Is like when you're not. It's just like probably feels like your world is rocked. Nothing is really like I remember. Me and Kristen's situation. I had some space to like. I was like freelance designing and also had like a design job, and I had like these three good jobs lined up, which was great. It was like, this is like, if I wanted anything, it was like some time to focus on what I wanted to do. And I had no motivation to do any of it. And I ended up losing those three clients because I just did not have the gas to put into those things. Um,
Yeah.
and that'll look different for everybody. So yeah, David, you're gonna feel like burnt toast. You're gonna have your tail between your legs for a little bit. You're gonna feel super vulnerable. Um, what else? What else would I describe it? All the bad stuff that you could ever
Yeah,
And that's probably what you right now.
I mean, even all of us in here with all of our years of experience, and like David said, we have different genders. We have females and males in here. So both of us uh giving you advice here, none of it's gonna stick. None of it you're really able to hear. You're in your own, pain, and sometimes you just gotta be there. Like, I'm telling you, like, you're just gonna be in it. You're gonna come out of this conversation maybe feeling a little bit better, because we're trying our hardest to be with you in that, and to let you know that it's not just you. Like, everybody goes through this. There's millions of people going through heartbreak right now at this very moment, all across the globe. We all do it. We're all gonna do it, and you never stop doing it. I mean, I have heartbreak coming up soon. Like, I have a 16-year-old daughter who's gonna move out of the house one day, and I think about that constantly. And then one day I'm gonna, we have someone in our community whose dad just went into the hospital at an emergency session. So I know that they were struggling with thinking that their dad was gonna pass away from some sort of cancer. And thankfully he's not there. He's not at that point. So this is just a learning lesson for you. And again, take it with a grain of salt. Just be in whatever you want to be in and do whatever feels right for you. There's no right or wrong answer, but just know that, like, you're not alone. Even though this isn't what we do, like, we're here for you. So if you want to come back and you want to check in, like, got you, man.
Yeah, you can follow us. I would say the best place to follow us would be the Twitter machine at my daily dads. Just
Hmm.
check in there, send a friend request. We'll connect with you, um, and I'm sure everybody here has their own story to give you. If you just want some feedback, if you just got to give us a shotgun blast to the face of what's in your head in first rough draft form.
Yes,
And
sir.
now I'm thinking I'm probably like this is good practice. We're probably going to have this talk with our
With our
kids
kids.
when they get to that age.
Yeah, my daughter is 16 years old. She's got her very first, like, hardcore boyfriend. They're very much going down that path. I can see the way that they look at each other and the way that they hang out. So they're very much going down that first love path. And I too remember those days in my 16s. Um, I was in a couple of those things that I, thought was love, and then, it wasn't, and then some more that were a little deeper. Yeah, it wasn't really until I hit my wife that I really figured it out, and it was a whole nother level. But yeah, man, it's not easy. Tried talking to my parents, but it's kinda, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, you're gonna
it's
get that.
tough. I mean, we all wanna say that, and I think someone already did say that in this chat. It's hard to understand when you're in the moment, so, like, I don't wanna say that to you, but yeah, it's true, but it's not where you're at, right? It's not where you're at right now, and for you, you gotta get through it, and you will. You'll figure it out. Like, some people take a month, some people take 20 months, and I hope that you don't take that long. And again, I wanna stress that the way that you're gonna be able to get through this is by just being in it, feeling it. I would write stuff down or record videos or audio. Don't send that anything to her, but just get the thoughts out of your head. Don't let it just, like, spiral in your mind. Like, get the words out either audibly or on a page, like you're doing right now. You're getting some of it out with us, and I'm hoping that this is making you feel better. Don't sit within. Go outside, go on a walk. If you have any hobbies, double down on the hobbies. Like, if you like to skateboard, go skate more. Um, and try to just be with yourself, be with your friends, find people that, love you. And it's not your parents. Like, your parents love you. but you're 18 and I get that relationship. We were there. So just go find other people you can talk to. Go
Yeah.
find the friends of your parents, maybe people that have been in your life for a while that you trust and you can talk to, and just or find strangers. I mean, I didn't have this when I was a kid, or at least I didn't know it existed. So I'm happy to be here for you today, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's props to you, Deepest, for just jumping on and looking around, um, and being with it right off the bat. Uh, we did not have this. We we were in the stage where we had our bedroom, we had our parents, and we
Mm.
had a PlayStation, and friends who were probably not at the point where they could maybe talk you through it. I don't even know if, like, I feel like if my daughter were to or even if, like, that relationship ended and perhaps I had a really great relationship with, like, my daughter's partner, might even be in the space where it's like I'm giving this talk to, like, my daughter's partner, if
Yeah,
he's or something. I don't know I don't know if if my parents were to give the talk that we're giving right now. I don't know if it were to hit, just because it's coming from your parents. You
yeah,
know, it's almost like and it's no skin off my parents' back, but it's just that I think that's just what people are like when you're young. What I would don't go fishing. This is the worst time to go fishing. Um, I remember there was something that always stuck with me back then, where it was like, however long you were with somebody, it takes about half that time to start to
mm,
get over it. That's
yeah,
something that kind of stuck with me. Um, and you're kind of in the worst of it right now. So um, I have to go make my kids breakfast now and then get them off to camp. Uh, yeah, Deepest, coming back tomorrow morning. Not sure where you live. I'm in Mountain Time, 6:30 start. West Coast, 5:30 start. East Coast, 7:30 start.
yeah, yeah. And again, thank you for coming on, and thank you for being brave enough to ask the question. You don't know us, we don't know you, but I hope
But
it
now we
helped.
do. We have a
I
new
hope it
friend.
helped just a little bit, man. And we'd be happy to see you back on here tomorrow. We'd be happy to get a notification that you found us on Twitter or somewhere else and reached out a little bit more. If you need any advice, or you just want to watch and hang out and talk, like, again, it's a completely different demographic. We're all, for the most part, older and parents, but it's like
On
Jason
the
said,
outside. On the outside. I think
it's not a bad thing for us, because actually there's a bunch of us that have, like, David's a grandpa or becoming a grandpa, so he's gone through his kids getting married and going through all the heartbreak too. So we got you, man. Come back anytime. And thank you, everybody, for showing the love and support and hanging with us a little longer today. um, we'll see everyone tomorrow.
good day. That was a good Tuesday.
Yeah, that was a
Have
fun
a
one.
plus 9 day, everybody.
See you guys.